NBA players tell the truth about Nikola Jokic. When talking about the latest superstars in the NBA, you can't but not say the name Nikola Jokic. Jokic has been turning heads and accumulating career high points so much that many NBA players, legends inclusive, have many things to say about his incredible talent. Many have been caught unaware about his sudden dominance, and for others, they didn't expect much from him. He has a humble beginning, and it is obvious that he is not forgetting his earlier days so easily. Jokic was announced as the 41st pick at the 2014 NBA draft. He was fast asleep while his name was called, and it took his brother to wake him up. But nobody saw his talent as he wasn't on the forefront of the draft list, but things have indeed taken a different turn. Compared to earlier in his career, Jokic has transformed to be a basketball player with poise, grace, and class. There are little things here and there about the guy that has transformed him into a top 5 level player and made him wear the crown as the best basketball player in the world. Many NBA players have many things to say about the star player. 3 times NBA champion JaVale McGee, who at some point has both played with and against Jokic, had called him a real beast. McGee has said he's got it all. Man, his pace is so slow you think, where's this coming from? I feel like he sees the game at a slower pace than the rest of us. Another NBA player also had 1 or 2 things to say about Nikola. Milwaukee Bucks champion Pat Connaughton, while appearing on the Dan Patrick Show, said he makes everyone around him better. He continued, he obviously has great individual moves, great individual skill. He wants you to send 2 guys. He wants you to double team, triple team him because it makes the game easier for him. Jokic faces defense quite differently from other players. Rather than hurt a defense, man knows how best to look and pick apart defense. And while a number of people look to discredit the hard-working Jokic and his outstanding results, others aren't having it. Former NBA star JJ Redick was big on disputing those asinine statements. Not willing to put it as an all-time great run is just the most asinine statement regardless of what he followed up with. Redick said, "It's the most asinine statement because Jokic was like the first to do this, the second most ever. Come on, man, what are we doing? All-time run." Even Los Angeles Lakers superstar player LeBron James knows just how special Jokic is, and he didn't hide that as he expressed himself while speaking to reporters. James has said, "I know how great Joker is. There are certain guys in this league that play the game a certain way that I like to play the game as well, and he's one of them, where you are always off balance when you are guarding a player like that because of his ability to score, rebound, shoot. He sees plays before they happen. Everybody gets cracked up into his stats, but I don't think a lot of people talk about this part of his game. Maybe it's not talked about because a lot of people don't understand it, but I do. He's special." And his co-star Jamal Murray has this to say after his dominant play in Game 2 against the Suns in the 2022 to 2023 season, while everyone else is struggling. Man, no hesitation from him. Just dominating down low and from 3, both ways. Staying aggressive all game, uplifting us during timeouts, just full belief in us the whole time. Let's take a detour to some more opponents like D'Angelo Russell of the Los Angeles Lakers, who, while on the Pat Bev podcast with Rome back in 2023, has said that he believes Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. After facing the Nuggets, he has said in an interview, "Yes, they got the best player in basketball on that team. No disrespect for nobody, he's the best player in NBA right now. Not even close." This, he said after being asked how he felt about the Nuggets, who were defending champions, getting enough general respect in the league. Patrick Beverley, who is the host of the show and the guard of the Philadelphia 76ers team, agreed with Russell as he spoke. Russell also continued and said this about Jokic. "I said this like 2 years ago. How do you guard him? How do you guard somebody that doesn't even want the ball? I ain't gonna say he doesn't want the ball, but he don't care." Even Russell couldn't help but agree with the fact that Jokic is a body of talent and his style of play isn't common. Of course, what are praises without a little bit of criticism? Not everybody agrees with how talented Jokic is, even though he seems to do new extraordinary things each day on the court. One of such people who feels this way is Gilbert Arena. While being a guest on JJ Redick's podcast, The Old Man, The 3, he discussed Nikola Jokic. On the podcast, Arenas had compared Jokic to the legendary Tim Duncan and went to great lengths to remind Redick that the fans never cared about how many championships Duncan won in his career. Arenas didn't stop there as he continued and said this about Jokic winning the championship. "No one's going to care. Let's just be honest. I'm sorry, he's not going to go from wherever he is right now to this super megastar because he's not doing anything kids want to see." Things get pretty serious as we see another legend, Hakeem Olajuwon, drop his 2 cents or more about what a wonder Jokic really is. Some NBA players have likened Jokic's style of play to that of Hakeem, and man couldn't help but agree with that. Hakeem Olajuwon is probably the best post player in NBA history. He's won 2 NBA championships and won the NBA MVP awards in 1994. Hakeem had said that Jokic reminded him of the days he used to play because he is the only player who has stayed true to the principles of basketball that were predominant in the earlier times in NBA history. Olajuwon said, "He's playing the game and you think he is not serious, but he's so effective. He doesn't look strong, but I see he gets such a deep post position. I think maybe it's the mismatch, but then he does the same thing against the bigger guys. His shots, his fakes, they are very difficult to time. He has tricks. So when the legends have one thing to say, well, let's just say we got to believe that they know best. Nikola Jokic has been going through many comparisons with both current NBA top players and legends. And guess who Garnett compared him to this time around? Wilt Chamberlain, popularly referred to as Joker. Garnett has said that Jokic was ripping the league's records apart. They showed a stat where he's had a triple-double every team in the league. Right now, Joker is more dominant than Wilt Chamberlain, Garnett said. He, however, refused to put Nikola above Shaquille O'Neal. He continued, I love Nikola straight up. What he's doing is unprecedented. It's about this time now, in this time. What he's doing is unbelievable. I get it, but Shaq wasn't shooting threes. Austin Reeves made an appearance on the Full Send podcast and was asked about players in league that have continued to impress him, and of course he mentioned Nikola Jokic. Reeves said, Jokic is one. He's just so unfazed with everything you do. You can throw a million different coverages at him. The best thing about him is that he's so unselfish, he doesn't care. Reeves even believed that Jokic should have won the 2022 and 2023 MVP award, which would have made it his third winnings in a row. The way he plays is so unique, he had said, man really believed in Jokic's talent and sees his talent vividly. Bam Adebayo, Miami Heat center, also shared his belief that Denver Nuggets star boy is the most unguardable player in NBA. Even though Bam is recognized as a big man himself amongst NBA big men, but he knows how to recognize greatness when he sees it. Jokic's uniqueness was fully on display when the Nuggets met the Heat at the NBA Finals where they won. Isaiah Thomas, who was a former Nuggets player, has mentioned the laid-back nature of Jokic when he have problems with, but he just does it in a good way. Every player have a different approach to their work and career. Jokic has found what works best for him. Sharing a funny experience he once had with him at halftime while talking on the Starting Five show, Isaiah said, one time at halftime, we were in the locker room. I'm looking at what he's doing on his phone. He's playing some little kid game on his phone. That's how funny it is, because you never see a superstar player so nonchalant about the game. And it's not even in a bad way. Miko Bridges believes that Nikola Jokic is the coldest NBA player for how he dominates the court each time he plays. When asked directly about who is the coldest star in the NBA playoffs, Miko has said you really can't guard him. He's crafty as hell, and if you overhelp, he's going to dime. From these NBA stars, you can tell how much of a talent Nikola Jokic really is. It is hard to deny that he is the best player in the NBA right now, given his successes in record-breaking plays. Man's got 2 NBA Finals MVP awards and an NBA championship in the bag. Invariably, he has proof to show for his acclaimed dominance. Amazingly, all of these comments are coming while the young player is not even up to 30 years yet, which means he has not gotten to the peak of his career. There's much more to Nikola Jokic than you can imagine, and you should be ready to see him unleash more greatness.